Right, East's dealer. Let's have a look what they've got. So East has 8 points in total. Nothing particularly exciting about this, and it's not enough to open the bidding at the 1 level, certainly. We haven't got a long enough suit to open a preemptive bid. If the ace of diamonds was the ace of spades, like that, we might open a weak 2, 6 cards in spades, 5 to 10-ish points. But it isn't, so we've not got anything to open here, so pass as the opening bidder. To South. South has got quite an interesting hand here. 6-5-2-0 is really quite a rare shape. We've got 15 points in total. We've got 6 card majors, so we've definitely unbalanced. 6-5-2-0 is an unbalanced hand. We're strong enough to open at the 1 level. You shouldn't open a preemptive bid with this number of points, like 3 hearts or 4 hearts or anything like that. Just simply start with 1 heart, intending to rebid clubs and then hearts and then clubs. These 6-5 shapes take quite a lot of bidding to get your true shape across. But yeah, we want to bid hearts, then clubs, then hearts, then clubs, and so on and so forth. But start with 1 heart, don't open any higher. And this isn't good enough to open 2 clubs as a kind of 23 plus or equivalent hand. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 losers, and 4 losers is just too many to open 2 clubs. Not only that, these very shapely hands, it tends to work better when you open 1 and then bid your second suit, bid your first suit again, etc. So I would open 1 heart for now. To West, let's have a look. So, West has got 9 points in total. This is the perfect shape for a takeout double. 4-4-4-1 is ideal. When the opponents open your singleton suit, a double is so perfect for your shape. And it's perfect because you have not only tolerance for the other 3 suits, you have actual support, 4 card support for the other 3 suits. I suppose 5-4-4-0 is an even better takeout doubling shape. This is known as the teacher's doubling shape because 4-4-4-1 is so perfect. The problem we've got with takeout double here is that we don't have enough points. You want an opening hand to be a overcaller making a takeout double, and we don't. We've got 9 points, not 12. You could stretch maybe with a good 11. This is too big of a stretch. So we haven't got a 5 card suit to bid. We can't bid no trumps. Double is looking attractive, but we've not got enough points. So I would pass. Okay. We have 8 points as North. We're responding to 1 heart. Partners promised us at least 4 hearts with their opening bid, and we have 4 hearts ourselves, so we've got a heart fit. So when you have a major fit, you need to tell your partner about it straight away. You might be tempted to bid your diamonds, or if they were spades, you might even be more tempted to bid them. But with a major fit, you tell your partner. So we're bidding some number of hearts. As soon as you find a major fit, that's what you're bidding as the responder. So we're bidding some number of hearts, just deciding what level. Given our points, we've got 8 points in total. That means we should be raising simply to 2 hearts. That would be 6 to 9 points with 4 cards in hearts. However, we are unbalanced, and we are unbalanced because we have 2 doubletons. Whenever you're unbalanced, the losing trick count is a better guideline for your hand than points. Now, they might agree with one another, but the losing trick count is something you should follow with an unbalanced hand. The losing trick count here says we have 1 loser in diamonds, 2 losers in spades, 3 losers in hearts, and 2 losers in clubs. So that's 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8, I believe. Given that we've only got 8 losers, we can assume our partner has a 7 loser hand for their opening bid of 1 heart. So our losers together, 7 plus 8, is 15. Now 15 losers sounds silly, but you take it away from the magic number, and the magic number is 18. So 15 away from 18 means we should actually be bidding 3 hearts here. That's because of our shape. Our shape here, shortage here, shortage here. That means we should be bidding 3 hearts and not 2 hearts. Our point says 2 hearts. Our shape, i.e. losing trick count, says 3 hearts. So 3 hearts is the correct bid here. Okay, so I'm coming to South now because East-West have nothing more to say. They've both got hands that couldn't open the bidding, nor could overcall or double or anything like that. So East is going to pass. Similarly, West, after I bid, as South is also going to pass. So nothing for East-West to say, just a North-South auction from now on. Our partners raised our hearts, so they're promising us 4 card support in hearts and 10 to 12 points if balanced, or 8 losers if unbalanced. So because we're also unbalanced, we should also operate on our losing trick count. Our losing trick count here is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 4 losers is a really good hand, that's close to a 2 club opener. So 8 losers plus our 4 losers means that that's 12. 12 away from 18 means we can actually make 6 hearts. Now 6 hearts is quite a considerable bid. If we just jump straight to 6 hearts, we might make it, but we should try to investigate more rather than just blindly jumping to 6 hearts. Although it would look exciting, I suppose. There's 2 ways really to do a slam investigation here. You could do a control bid saying I've got the ace of this, are you interested in a slam? Or you could make a bid of Blackwood. 4 no trumps would be a way of saying are you interested in slam? So both are similar in their message. Control bidding is better, and I'll tell you why. Control bidding tends to be more space saving. If we jump to 4 no trumps here, we haven't used any of the 4 level or 3 spades. We haven't used any of those bids available to us. And not only that, it kind of signs us up for 5 hearts when we may or may not want to bail out in 4 hearts if our partner happens not to be interested in slam. So I think we should make a control bid. Not only that, when we've got a lot of shape, control bids tend to be more important, simply because the ace of clubs is a good card for us if our partner's got it, whereas the ace of diamonds is not so good because we have a void. So we don't really care about our partner's cards in diamonds. We do care about our partner's cards in spades, clubs and hearts. That's because we're 3 suited rather than 4 suited as normal. So control bidding works better. A, it saves space, and B, it tells us more about critically where our partner's good cards are, should they have any controls, that is. So I would bid 3 spades here, and that would be the ace of spades, or a first round control in spades, which could be a void. And it would say, I'm interested in slam, what do you think, partner? Now I wouldn't control bid the club, because that's not the ace, or diamonds, because spades comes first. 3 spades is the cheapest bid you can make. Whenever you're making a control bid, you make the most efficient bid possible. The most efficient bid is 3 spades, which is what we have. We have the ace of spades, so we should do that. This isn't some kind of trial bid, and it isn't some kind of natural suit, because we have agreed hearts are trumps. And if we bid beyond 3 hearts, we are going to at least 4 hearts. So it must be some kind of slam-orientated bid, which is why it should be a control bid. So I would bid 3 spades, which says I have the ace of spades, what do you think about a slam? Okay, so our partner's just made a slam-orientated bid. Now obviously we need to have agreed this as a partnership, that we're playing control bids and we're playing first round controls, etc. But it's sort of, based on logic, can't really be anything else. There's no point in it being natural, there's no point in it looking for a stopper or anything like that, because we're playing in hearts. It's just a case of 4 hearts or 7 hearts or somewhere in between. Of course he could have passed 3 hearts, which means we would have played in 3 hearts, but the fact that they bid on means that they want to be in at least game, which means this must be a slam-orientated bid. So that's a control bid saying I've got the ace of spades, what do you think about slam? So firstly, what do we think about slam? Our hand is pretty minimum for our bid. We only just about stretch to 3 hearts because of our shape. We've only got 8 points when really we'd like 10-ish to be jumping, albeit our shape merited the 3 heart bid. So we've got a bit of a problem in that A, we're not really interested in slam, and B, we don't actually have any controls. We don't have the ace of anything, which is not very useful. Aces tend to be very important for slams, obviously. So I think we're going to bid 4 hearts. It's the only real bid in the box. We can't bid 4 clubs or 4 diamonds, because that would say we have the ace of that suit. So 4 hearts is our only real bid in the box. We haven't got any controls, so that's what I would do. Well, that's rather disappointing from North. They haven't got the ace of clubs or the ace of diamonds. Now the ace of diamonds wouldn't have been particularly useful, but the ace of clubs would have been rather nice. But the fact that they haven't bid clubs or diamonds basically denies those cards. So we've got gaps in this club suit now. I'm starting to get worried about these clubs, especially the fact that we've got 4 small clubs and our partner does not have the ace. We don't have control of the club suit, and in fact we might have a few quick club losers should things not go our way. Although we have a 4 loser opposite an 8 loser and or 10 to 12 points, depending on what they bid their 3 hearts on, I think we're going to pass and just stay in the safe 4 hearts, simply because I'm concerned about these small clubs. We do have a 10 card fit, so it may well be that we make 12 tricks, depending on the quality of our partner's club. They might have Queen, Jack of clubs and King of spades, for example. That would be very nice, but that's quite specific. So I think we're going to take the kind of a safe route of 4 hearts, which is unlike me, but I'm concerned with the lack of control bid from our partner. So I think pass is the correct bid, and we should play in what we think is a safe 4 hearts. Right, so we're on lead against 4 hearts. Interestingly, we need to draw some information from the bidding here. We've learned that South has a control in spades, which is almost always the ace of spades. I suppose it could be a void, but that's somewhat unlikely. And we've learned that South was interested in the slam. We've also learned that North did not have a control in clubs or diamonds. So whenever you're defending, you should always look to use the opponent's bidding, the information they've given you, against them if you can. So we know that South had the ace of spades, was interested in slam. North didn't have the ace of diamonds or the ace of clubs and wasn't particularly interested in slam. That means that South bailed out. So that kind of led to South taking a more pessimistic view, which suggests they're worried about losers. So normally, without any of that information, if you just went 1 heart, 4 hearts, we may well have led the jack of spades. Top of internal sequence is quite a good lead. You never lead the clubs or the hearts because you're leading away from an ace and leading a singleton. So jack of spades looks like an attractive lead. However, we've learned that North doesn't have the ace of clubs or the ace of diamonds. Well, we have the ace of clubs, that's not surprising. And we have learned that South has the ace of spades. So this spade lead is looking a bit less attractive because we're leading away from our king. So it may well be that South has the ace queen of spades and we're giving them a free trick. Or North has the queen of spades and we're letting them play the queen whilst we play the jack, which will win the trick because South has the ace. So I'm put off this spade lead all of a sudden, and that's because of their bidding has given us little fragments of information as to not to lead the spades, basically. As briefly mentioned just now, I wouldn't lead a club because you're leading away from an ace, never lead away from an unprotected ace, and I wouldn't lead a singleton trump because singleton trump leads often work out badly as well. So I don't want to lead a spade, a heart or a club, so that gives us only one suit, the diamonds. When you're leading a suit that does not have an honour, you want to try to lead a high card which suggests you dislike the suit. A low card suggests you have an honour, a high card suggests you don't have an honour. But if we were to lead the 5, we would then have to follow it with the 4, the 3 or the 2. Whenever you go top down, that promises exactly 2 cards. So we can't lead the 5 because the 5 would have to be followed with a smaller card, which would suggest to our partner we have 2 cards, which isn't true. And we don't want to lead a low one because that suggests we have an honour. Which means the best card in this diamond suit is the 4. The 4 does not look high, I will give you that, but that's because we have the 2, the 3, the 4 and the 5, which is rather unlucky. Whenever you have a poor suit, you often lead second from a long poor suit, because the highest card would suggest a doubleton, and the lowest card, or a low card, would suggest an honour. So this is the best lead, given that we've taken the information from the bidding, and also we don't really want to lead anything else. But the 4 of diamonds does look like an honour, I will give you that, but our partner is going to have to work it out, I'm afraid. The 4 of diamonds is what I would opt for. I don't mind the jack of spades, but I think the jack of spades is not as good now that you've learned about the opponent's control there. So I think the 4 of diamonds is what I would lead. Right, down goes the dummy. Hearts are trumps, they go on the right hand side, my right, your left. So let's think about this hand as a whole. Now, I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. It's always correct when you get the lead from the opponent to think about the whole hand, not just to think about this trick. This trick is easy. We're playing one of those diamonds from the dummy. The diamonds are all equivalent. King, queen, jack, 10, 9. They're all equivalent. So any of those diamonds are fine. But we want to think about the whole hand. So, firstly, losers. Where do we have losers that we're concerned with? So the heart suit should be fine. We've got 10 trumps missing the queen. So when we play the ace and the king, the queen should appear as long as they break 2-1. The clubs, we've got a problem. We've got 2 clubs on the dummy, so we can ruff some clubs on the dummy, but we have 2 clubs that we are concerned with on the dummy. The ace of clubs presence is scary. If West has the ace of clubs sat over our king of clubs, that would be bad. We might lose 2 club tricks in that eventuality. And the spades are they're okay. We've got the king of spades to lose unless the opponents lead spades for us. Notice if West had led a spade, the queen of spades would have won the first trick, so well done West. So we've got kind of 1 spade loser, a couple of club losers to be concerned with. We can trump the rest of the club losers. The diamonds we're not concerned with, but they're actually going to be a great asset to us. The diamonds aren't a concern because we have a void, but they're actually going to be a great asset, and the reason for that is those diamonds are very, very good, except from the ace. And West has led the diamond, which suggests they don't have the ace. Leading away from an ace would be bad practice from West. So we're going to play a diamond for the dummy. East is presumably going to play their ace of diamonds because they have the ace of diamonds. We can trump it, and suddenly we've got 4 diamond winners on the dummy, just like that. So when we have those 4 diamond winners, they're going to serve as great assets to discard lots of tricks. We can discard at least 4 club losers and or a spade loser, depending on what we think we're going to be doing in a moment. So it looks like we're going to lose no hearts, we're going to lose potentially one spade, we're going to lose potentially a couple of clubs, but those diamonds are going to be very useful assets for us. Unfortunately for West, they couldn't actually avoid helping us. If they'd led a spade, we would have won the queen. If they led a diamond, which they have, that sets the diamonds up for us. If they led a club, that would have been into our king, which would have helped us. The only card they could have led was a trump, which doesn't help us because the trumps are breaking. But that's really hard for them to do. So they have inadvertently helped us set the diamond suit up here. So I'm going to play a diamond from the dummy, and those diamonds being established as winners are going to be very useful as discards for our losers. So it doesn't really matter which diamond. I personally prefer playing top down, but some prefer bottom up. Either is fine because they're all equivalent. I would play the king though. So I play the king diamond from the dummy. Presumably they're going to play the ace, we're going to trump it, and suddenly we'll have 4 diamond winners on the dummy. Okay, so East hasn't got really anything to think about. They could not play their ace of diamonds, but they're going to play their ace of diamonds. They don't know South is void. This might be their only chance to win the diamond trick, so they're going to play their ace of diamonds, which happens to play into South's hands, but there's no way for them to know that at all. So you're going to play the ace of diamonds as East. There's nothing much you can do about the diamond situation. And South, we're going to trump it. Definitely trump it. That sets the diamonds up as winners and gets us the lead to draw the trumps, etc. So we won the first trick. That was very, very nice first trick for us because we've set those diamonds up as winners. Now we want to draw the trumps. Because we had 10 trumps to begin with, we've just used one, we want to try to play ace king of hearts, hoping for the hearts to be 2 and 1. This will happen about 70-ish%, just more than 70% of the time. So ace king falling the queen is quite a likely scenario. There is a potential one opponent has all 3 missing hearts with the queen, but that will be somewhat unlucky. So start with the ace of hearts, let's see what we see. West plays a heart, we play a small heart from the dummy, and East also plays a heart. So that means the hearts are breaking 2-1. The queen hasn't appeared yet, but it's guaranteed to appear on the next round. So that's exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to play the king of hearts, killing the queen, wherever it may lie. King of hearts gets led. West has got to discard something. It doesn't really matter what they discard, as long as they keep the king of spades and their ace of clubs, which they naturally would. They're probably going to discard a diamond, though, simply because they don't look very useful to them. We play a small heart from the dummy, and East plays the queen of hearts, which is what we're looking for. So the trumps broke 2-1. We've just managed to draw the trumps in 2 rounds. That's very nice. That's exactly what we wanted. Now those diamonds are winners on dummy. Queen, Jack, 10, 9 are all winners on the dummy. But we can't get there. We've got no entries to the dummy that actually help us. We could play low towards the queen, but someone will win the king. We could play a low club, but someone will win that. The only actual way to get to the dummy is to play a low heart to the 9. The 9 is a winner, of course, because the opponents don't have any more trumps. And we have this 7, which goes underneath it, which is rather helpful. And that's the only way to get to the dummy. It's highly unusual to play trumps more than you need to. We've drawn all the trumps, so it's really unusual to play another round of trumps. You only do it in extreme circumstances when you really need to get the lead somewhere. We need to get the lead to dummy to rattle off those 4 diamonds. So I'm going to play the 7 of hearts and the 9 of hearts, not because I can't count and I think someone else has got a winning heart or a small heart, but simply because I need to get the lead to north so that we can play queen of diamonds, jack of diamonds, etc. So that's what I do. I play a low heart. They would probably discard another diamond. Again, that suit's useless to them, although they'll be discarding something else in a minute. Play the 9 on top of the 7 to get the lead over there. East discards is basically irrelevant there, and it's pretty much useless, I'm afraid. They'll probably throw a low spade, because those spades don't look very useful. So we've now got the lead in the dummy. That's the important thing, is the lead is over here. So now we can play queen of diamonds, jack of diamonds, 10 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds. We've got 4 discards to make. So we need to decide what 4 cards are we throwing. Are we throwing 4 little clubs, or are we throwing 3 little clubs and a little spade? The correct thing is the latter, 3 little clubs and a little spade. And that's because if we throw 4 clubs, the king is guaranteed to fall underneath the ace wherever it is. Whereas if we throw a little spade and 3 little clubs, we will have a little club with our king, which means we can then play a club from the dummy towards our king, hoping that the ace of clubs is here, rather than here. You could argue, well, what if we make the queen of spades a trick? Throwing this little spade means we'll never make the queen of spades. Unfortunately, we're never going to make that queen of spades unless someone throws all the spades and gets rid of it so that the king happens to fall underneath our ace. So we're going to play 4 rounds of diamonds. We're going to try to get 4 different discards. 3 clubs and a spade is the best thing to discard. So we're going to play all these 4. We're going to play these 3 and this 1. And what that means is it leaves us with 2 trumps which are master, ace of spades, which is a master, and this king of clubs, which is in a precarious situation. Now I'll come to the club suit in a minute. I'm just going to discard on the, or rather follow suit, depending on how many diamonds they have, for the defenders. So this defender, East, plays 3 rounds of diamonds on those 4 diamonds and throws a spade. That's their 4 tricks done. They lose all of them. And this defender over here plays 1 diamond. They've got to find 3 discards. So they're probably going to discard 1 spade and 2 clubs. Or 2 spades and 1 club. Either they've just got to keep the king of spades and their ace of clubs, basically. So that's those next 4 tricks. 4 rounds of diamonds. That gets rid of a lot of our losers. Well, almost all of them. So now we're in a position where we've got these 3 as winners and this one as a potential winner. What we shouldn't do is play over to our ace of spades, play our 2 trumps and then give in. Because this king of clubs could be a trick. So we need to play clubs from the dummy towards our hand. We're currently in our dummy because we've just won those 4 diamonds, so we should play a low club towards the king. Our hope is that the ace of clubs is here rather than here, which means our king of clubs will be a trick. As it happens, that isn't the case, but we don't know that. So we should play a club. It's now or never. If we play anything other than a club now, we'll end up over here and permanently over here. So we need to play a club from the dummy and see what East does. If East plays the ace of clubs, good E, we've got winners in our hand. If East doesn't play the ace of clubs, we'll play the king of clubs and cross your fingers. East doesn't play the ace of clubs because they don't have it. They should play second hand low. We play the king of clubs as a 50-50. The ace of clubs is here, it wins. The ace of clubs is there, it loses. The ace of clubs happens to be on top of us, so they take their club trick. What they now can do, the best defence here, is that they would cash their other club trick. So they would play the jack of clubs to their partner, to the queen of clubs, which means we will lose this one. So in the end, we're going to end up losing 2 tricks because the ace of clubs was in the wrong hand. Glad to not be in a slam because we didn't make 12 tricks, but also the lead slightly helped us. Those diamonds being established, well, didn't slightly help us, it really helped us because we got rid of all of our potential club losers. Notice we had to use a little heart to the 9. That was really key to get to those diamonds, to be able to discard all our clubs. So we're going to end up losing this club, but these 3 are winners. So we'll end up making 11 tricks in total.